Stefan, what's your opinion on the CEO assassination?
Yeah, so that's been a thing for a second now, and
Yeah.
it's getting, I think, more progressively worse in that aspect for CEOs because a lot of CEOs are either going into hiding or they're literally caving into whatever people are wanting or just showing that they're not going to be like healthcare CEOs that don't really give a crap about if you're sick or not.
Yeah, but do you think that he should have killed him?
Here's my opinion on it.
Oh, you're starting with the here's my opinion.
That's how you always got to start it out.
Yeah.
Get them going. So my thing is, yes, I think it was wrong to kill him, but I will say that something definitely should have been done about it. In regards to, so this guy knows willingly, or the CEO that once existed, once knew that he's denying hundreds of thousands of claims a year.
Yeah, well, they make money off that.
They do make money off death. That's the thing. And they don't really show any remorse. Like, I'm not expecting them to be like, woe is me and help.
Well, it's more so
case.
they get money off of denying, not necessarily like the person dying.
Right.
Maybe they do. I don't know, actually. But I also know that United Healthcare had like a 39% denial rate, which is
right. And then they also,
awful.
And they also too had a thing where I think the numbers were, they made 1 year, $6 million off like claims and stuff that got denied. And they somehow made a $13 million profit the next year.
Yeah.
So it's like, okay, how does it go from 1 year you have half of that and then the next year you're doubling? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like that seems a little off to me, especially when you're denying all of these claims. Like, yeah, certain people can't afford certain coverages, but at the same time, it's like, why are you jacking up the price of coverages? Like sometimes what these healthcare professionals will do anyway is if you have an upset stomach and they don't feel like checking you out, they'll just slap a Band-Aid on it, call it good, and kick you out the door. That's what they do.
Yeah.
And they deny your claim, even though you could probably have, hopefully not happen, but like a tumor or something like that happening in your stomach or wherever, and you don't know what it is. But because they're just like, oh, it's just a stomach pain, whatever, they'll just kick you out and call it good. I'm not saying every place does that, but I'm pretty sure with right now, again, for United Healthcare, where you show the $6 million to $13 million ratio, it's a little excessive.
Yeah. I just think insurance, especially healthcare insurance, is just dirty.
Well, yeah.
And gross.
Well, yeah, because even with my glasses, for example, that I wear, right? Like, you know how bad my eyesight is.
Yeah.
It's awful. These look like bifocals. So they're thick lenses, but, it's like, yeah, insurance covers most of it, but if I'm paying a certain dollar amount out of my paycheck,
which you are, right?
which I am,
Yeah.
and I'm also paying that towards health, where if anything happens at the hospital where I need to go, then I have my insurance that covers it. How is it that you're not providing technically full coverage at that point if I have full coverage? Like that would just essentially be coming out of my paycheck. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So for people to have this assumption that like, oh yeah, no, they're not covering, or they're covering stuff for like how Luigi's mom was like, she had like severe nerve damage.
And Luigi being the assassin.
Yeah. His mom had like some kind of nerve damage thing or something where she was like screaming in the middle of the night and day because of how bad the pain was.
Yeah.
And then that's when he tried to get, the insurance to cover for the surgery or something. I guess they said something like there was a surgery that was available for her to take away that pain. And they ended up denying that. And that's what caused that whole thing, because she ended up, I think, dying is what I remember seeing. And that's when the assassination happened with the CEO. And how I look at it too is these guys at even like just health insurance, for example, like how is it that is it just because they're getting it legally like documented and getting legal currency that they are able to kill essentially millions of people? And
Yeah, because
then,
they're technically they're killing people indirectly.
right.
You know what I mean?
They're killing people, but because it's written documentation and whatever, it's okay. But Luigi, either way, it's still wrong. But Luigi then kills the CEO and he's in jail right now. So this CEO guy denying claims, obviously not him.
Well, he's not going to be denying them.
Right. Not anymore. But yeah, it's like his family literally like is sitting here and they're like, what was me? Yeah, it's a sad time, but like, how do you not know or care enough that your husband is denying people and not helping them? Because that's the whole thing about doctors is that they're there to help you. A homeless guy can be on the street with no ID or anything and go into the ER, and legally the hospital has to help them out. And there's no way for a homeless guy to obviously pay. Yeah. So they can just walk away scot-free. If they have like a leg that is being eaten up by bacteria because of, they're homeless and they got all that disease and stuff, they have to amputate it, stitch it up. They have a stump, give them wheelchair or crutches or a prosthetic, and then the guy walks away free.
Well, it comes out of taxpayer.
Well, yeah, taxpayer money, which still sucks because it's like, cool, you're not trying to get yourself a job, even though, you're homeless and it's, whatever. Not a whole lot of people are trusting today, too, with that crap.
Yeah, and it also depends on why they're homeless.
Yeah.
Like, do they have a really bad mental issue?
Or is it just like some bad stuff happened in their life, like they got evicted or a divorce or something like that? I can understand that. The one sad thing is the vets.
Yeah.
The vets, like how there's not enough shelters for them at that point. I'm a big military supporter. So, yeah, the whole healthcare system is like screwed up with that whole thing, with insurance claims and everything.
Yeah, I would say that obviously Jesus wouldn't want somebody killing a rich person or the CEO. Like, we both agree with that. But it does say something about the American healthcare system. And I don't know if universal healthcare would be good or bad. There's so much propaganda about how bad it is that we hear, like, oh, we had to wait so long in line. It's people in Canada.
Right.
So I don't know if that's propaganda or if it really would be bad for universal healthcare. So I'm not like advocating for universal healthcare, but I also, something has to change.
I feel like it's a mixture of both on that one. But yeah, there does need something to change. Like, obviously, in some aspects, there are people that do actually need the health care that anyone provides. But then there's people that abuse it. Like, there's a show called My 600-Pound Life, for example. Those people they chose to get fat.
Yeah, fat.
Like, that's on you then at that point. That's like, if you're trying to actually get better and you want to lose the weight or get surgery for whatever, then cool, then provide it. But if you're just fat because you're fat and you don't want to do anything and you're just slouching in bed hoping to get painkillers and stuff because you're a drug addict, like this one guy named Steve that was on the show, like, no, I'm sorry, like, you trash on the street.
Yeah, there has to be nuance where it's like stuff like that we should not cover because they chose that life to become bigger than ever.
Exactly. Same thing with drug addicts too, in a way. Like, you get like meth heads on the street and everything like that. I'm sorry, you chose that life and you're clearly not wanting to get better, even though it's like, it's a very addictive drug, but you knew taking that it was addictive.
Yeah.
So that's on you if you have any kind of health issues later on down the road. Like, there have been people that I've known that have been like ex-meth heads, and it was a girl that I used to work with. I'm not obviously going to name the work facility that I used to work for. Right. But she used to be a meth head. She had a meth lab and everything else, and she went to jail for it, and then she got released. And she chose to clean up her life, though, because she realized it was screwing her up. Yeah. So if you have that realization, then good for you. But otherwise, I don't think healthcare should provide anything for anybody at that point. If they're just like, nope, I'm going to just go right back to smoking meth or whatever they do.
Yeah, because rehab can cost a lot for someone to get off certain drugs.
And even same thing with alcohol, too, at that point. There's alcohol abuse. There was a guy on a TV show that had, I think he was getting drunk 26 years of his life. And then as soon as he went to rehab to get rid of that crap, his bloodstream was so used to the alcohol that he died as soon as, I think it was a month later or something like that. after he went in rehab.
Yeah, I know, like with heroin and stuff, they actually have to wean people off it slowly because it's so used to it.
You could die from it.
Yeah, from not getting it, which is crazy to think about.
Oh, yeah. Well, and then, too, also, just to kind of another insurance company, I think it was Blue Cross Blue Shield, were the people in this case. But there's a girl named Miranda or something along the lines of that just recently got arrested, and she's in jail right now. I think it's Madison. That's kind of more ringing a bell. Madison. She just was trying to get something either for her or her daughter because they were sick.
Yeah.
And what happened was she called the insurance company, and they denied her claim for whatever was happening. And then she used the 3 famous lines like deny, defend,
depose.
Yeah, depose. Yeah. And she said, "You're next," which, obviously comes off as a threat.
Yeah.
But she didn't have anything planned or nothing else. But that's, again, what's happening in this world currently is that you have now, ever since this Luigi guy made a statement about the healthcare system with assassinating a CEO of a healthcare organization, now you have, and I think it was an uprising in a way, where it's like now the people know, obviously, or they're just tired of how we've been abused for years because everybody else can afford all this wonderful healthcare stuff. Like there's people that they probably, again, have a cure for cancer and they're not going to share it with anybody that's of the lower class, but they'll show it with Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson. They'll show it with Rosie O'Donnell if they want to, because they got money.
Yeah.
And that's what it boils down to. And that's where it says too in the Bible that it's like money is the root of all evil. And so here's a prime example. These CEOs, healthcare's, every bit of insurance is all power hungry with money. Because even if I have full coverage on my Accord, for example, for my car insurance, it may say full coverage, but is it really full coverage?
Well, I think insurance in general is a scam.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because I think I have comprehensive, but say I did have PLPD insurance on my car, which is 0 coverage. Mm-hmm. What am I paying for? Because if I get in an accident, they're not covering my car. They're not covering the other person's car.
Right.
And it's just a way for the government to get more money. Like, hey, you need to pay this money so you can have your car on the road.
Right. And it's like, okay, so it's not like we're already, like, if you've seen the car dealership and the car stock market in general, like trucks are over $100,000. Like that's not enough money right there.
Yeah, and then you have to also pay for the registration.
Right, the registration or any state park passes, anything like that, it's ridiculous. Like you can't even do anything without paying for it nowadays. Like heck, even drawing, like you have to buy the pencil and paper, which is whatever, but I mean, I'm just saying
it's just something that more and more stuff that you have to pay for virtually everything.
Right. Or even same thing with like guns and stuff like that. I own one, and it's like you have to pay like for registration for it and all this other stuff, which is fine. But at the same time too, it's not fine because it's like, okay, you're already paying for the gun and you have to turn in the paperwork to the police department so they can have that. But there's also a processing fee for it. So it's like,
yeah, exactly.
Why do I need to pay for the gun when I'm literally giving it to the police officer at the station to show that I have a gun in the event that there is any crime or anything like that happening? Like they can pinpoint, usually forensics have gotten really good at this point where like how they found the bullet casings and everything like that. And another story about forensics and how good they've gotten too with this whole CEO thing.
I want to go back into that part of the story.
No, it's all kind of like dying in.
Yeah.
But yeah, like they can trace back anything that happens. So if something happens to another CEO and they happen to use something similar to mine or whatever, then they can track that and be like, okay, well, the shell casing came from this thing. These are the only guns that can take it. So, and then speaking of how forensics and everything else with like finding people has gotten better. So this guy off, a website where they sell backpacks and other luggage things, they actually were able to trace the backpack that Luigi used in the assassination from this guy. It's like Peak something is the company.
Yeah.
And they traced him through the serial number on the bag from the receipt to pinpoint where this guy was, along with, obviously finding him at McDonald's, which that girl, Nancy Parker, little snitch, was sitting there, and she should have just put the fries in the bag at that point. I'm sorry. But this guy is trying to prove a point that the American, healthcare insurance companies are scams.
Yeah, but he did kill somebody.
He did, which I still will agree is wrong, and he shouldn't have done it, but something should have. And I'm putting that literally.
You seem torn, which I think a lot of people are.
It's torn, but it's more of what's right and what's wrong at that point.
Yeah.
Was it right for these healthcare insurances to do what they're doing right now with denying people?
No, it's not.
It's not.
It's indirect murder too. So
right.
It's like,
indirect murder. And then it's also too, did Luigi do the right thing by killing the CEO to prove a statement? No, but yes, at the same time. And he made a statement in the wrong way.
Yeah, that's what I would say. The statement is good, but he went about it the wrong way.
Exactly. So
that's a good way of putting it.
Yeah. And and again, with me, I agree that was wrong what he did. And yeah, maybe some jail time, obviously.
Some.
Well, you know what I mean.
He's going to jail for a while.
He ain't gonna. It's not gonna be like a life sentence.
If you kill somebody who's rich and quote unquote, like important.
Yeah.
But you don't know, is it life, or do you know how long he got?
I don't know if it's life, but I know they're not doing anything like a death sentence as far as I know yet. It's still kind of early to determine. Yeah, what if?
That would be crazy.
Yeah, and you do bring up a good point where it's like if you kill someone rich, but yet the rich, like, for example, everybody knows this now, the story of Alec Baldwin, where he had the prop gun and he shot one of the cast members that were part of the movie, and the blank bullet ended up not being a blank bullet, it ended up being real.
Yeah.
And it's like he can get away with it and plead not guilty, and he just has to pay a fine. You know what I mean? And he can, but again, it's Alec Baldwin versus this Luigi guy that nobody knows at that point.
Yeah.
So money really is all power at that point.
Mm-hmm. I mean, there's clear. We just talked about this in the last episode. I don't know if you had a chance to listen to that one, but it was like pretty much all about money and how basically Jesus, and even in the words of James and a lot of the Bible, they do talk about how being rich for the most part just isn't a good thing.
Right.
It's not like
it'll consume you at that point.
It pretty much consumes everyone. Like Jesus basically says it is impossible to get into heaven if you're rich.
Right. And don't get me wrong, a lot of extra money would help, I'm sure, for everybody.
Well, yeah.
But it also depends on what you do with that money, too, because obviously there's people that could use it for good, like donations, charity, whatever. And then you get the people that would use it for bad, like Diddy or Hugh Hefner. They'll just use it for... I'm just saying. Like Hugh Hefner...
Bringing up two perverts.
Yeah, two perverts, literally. One with baby oil and one with bunnies,
Yep.
So that's the thing, is it all comes to money and power at that point. And when the CEO, here's the other thing too, is that this guy, I think, had a $1.5 million salary or more and then it showed like, I think he made like 19.8 billion in claims or something like that.
For the company?
For the company, yeah. So it's like, okay, this guy clearly is well set for the rest of his life, but yet he can go home and sleep soundly knowing that he indirectly killed thousands of people in one day, pretty much, I would say.
Yeah.
Because it's United Healthcare is not just in one general section, of the United States. Right, it's everywhere.
Yeah.
So, yeah, every day there's thousands of people that die. Not just in the United States, but around the world, too.
Now, back to the Nancy Parker. Was she working at McDonald's? Yeah,
she was working at McDonald's during that shift, and what ended up happening was I guess she saw somebody that looked suspicious, like the assassin that killed the CEO.
Yeah.
And so this dumb girl called the 911 line instead of the hotline to get the $60,000 reward for turning in Luigi. And she obviously didn't get the money, and she's not going to get the money. But she received so much backlash, and she was receiving threats and everything like that McDonald's had to let her go. And here's the dumb reason why McDonald's let her go. It wasn't just the publicity and everything like that. It was because she contacted the cops and was outside talking to them during her shift.
So she technically wasn't working.
She technically wasn't working.
That's funny.
Yeah. So first of all, McDonald's is stupid at that point.
Getting fired from McDonald's has to be one of the best things to happen to someone.
Yeah, but it's also McDonald's looking at it. McDonald's is already crooks. If you know the backstory to that, the guy stole the business from two brothers that started the business. And now it's this giant chain of fast food.
Most big corporations, I would say, and I say most because there are some good ones, are rooted in evil and power and money.
Exactly. And so, obviously everybody goes to McDonald's. And
I would also like to say I would not have recognized
No.
Luigi if I saw him at anywhere.
I wouldn't have either, but it also doesn't even look like the guy. If you look at the CCTV camera, like
with the famous smile thing, I would have never found that guy.
No, absolutely not. And the other funny part is I don't know if you noticed this too. So the Altoona McDonald's in Pennsylvania that they found this guy in received 1-star ratings and was saying like, you guys have a rat infestation. And there was, I'm not even joking on this just for comedy relief, but there was one person that said, yeah, I saw an employee take a dump on the floor and everybody just watched and did not do anything to clean it up. This is the most disgusting establishment ever. Not even joking. It was an actual review. Yeah. I was like, what the heck? So the Altoona McDonald's literally took down reviews and like where I think they're located and all this other stuff too. So you can't even like look up that, you can look it up and whatever, but you can't like get directions to it or anything like that anymore, even though people know where it's at. But there's a lot of people in retaliation to McDonald's now. There's a lot of people in retaliation to that Peak Design. I think that's what it's called, is Peak Design, that the bag where they traced Luigi through the serial number and all that other crap. And funny enough too, so now the CEOs that are snitching and like helping out with this whole thing or standing up for the CEO and all this other stuff are like receiving so much backlash and everything like that, where I had a little bit of a tongue twister there for a second.
Slip,
But yeah, they had so much backlash from everything that happened that the CEO of Peak Design literally like went completely offline. Like you can go to their YouTube channel, you can go to their Instagram, you can go to their Twitter, and you cannot comment or do anything on any of their pages because obviously they snitched. So,
it kind of scares me for the future of America though.
I mean, at this point, it's already going downhill.
I mean, it has been for a while, and we know that, and it's scary. It's the crumbling of an empire.
It is.
It's just like scary because all these companies who just gave out information, probably by law, like what's going to happen if Peak Backpacks or whatever they're called doesn't give out the information? Do they go to jail? Like, what do you do? Like,
well, here's the thing is like, there's been cold cases like for murder cases in the past that like, okay, let's just pretend like Walmart sold a backpack to the killer or whatever, for example, or something.
Yeah.
And if they found out like, oh, the killer's wearing a backpack from Walmart, they're not going to sit there and be like, if Walmart has any information like on the news directly and whatever, like, or you're going to go to jail or shut down your company or whatever, like they're going to sit there and just say it's a Walmart backpack and then cool. They're not going to just, they'll do that privately. There was no reason for that guy to come out at all and just announce it after Luigi already got captured. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
There's no reason. Plus, you're just making your brand look bad at this point. This is the thing, right? This is what I compare past America to current America, and this is where I think we need a reset, is how I put it.
Yeah.
In the 1700s, we went to war, basically, over a tax increase on tea. And what did we do? We retaliated by throwing the tea in the river or ocean or whatever it was.
Yeah.
We aren't doing anything. We haven't done anything since then for a long time. But now people are waking up and realizing that what America is now is wrong. There's no reason why there needs to be like coverage declines or anything like that. There's no reason why we need to have like war in Ukraine, because of Biden and whoever.
Yeah.
And there's no reason why people need to be dissing on Trump voters or anything like that either too. But
I think that's come down a lot in the past year or so. Like it was bad in 2016.
Yeah.
Because I remember even if I saw somebody with a MAGA hat, I would be like, man, that's kind of cringy. But now, it's almost cool to say you voted for Trump.
Right. And I mean, that's the thing too, is people just don't get that. And again, you get the liberals who they'll just do their thing and freak out over the gas prices dropping, but yet everybody else is like cool with it. But it's like, I remember a time where my president, for example, I wasn't scrambling for money or extra hours at work. I was living comfortably. So that's where the whole thing was just everything in America is just, I feel like going to crap, and it's just going to get worse unless we do something. And there's a famous Bugs Life quote. You seen Bugs Life, right?
Yes, I've seen Bugs Life.
So there's a quote that Hopper, the main antagonist of the film, he sits there and there's a speech that he gives to the rest of the grasshoppers, and he says, "If you let one ant stand up, they all stand up." Here's Luigi, the one ant, and now everybody else is standing up because they're done. We're tired. I'm sorry, but I'm tired. I'm not going to go kill anybody, but I'm tired.
Stefan, it sounds like you are.
Maybe. I'll kill this Arizona tea can. I'll tell you that much. But yeah, like that's how it is like, people are getting tired. They're waking up and they're fed up because you can only do so much by sweet talking too. You can have if you're like an insurance agent, and I'm just a normal guy, and you tell me my insurance claim is denied, and I'm upset about it, but I'm like, okay, at the end of the day, like I get it. Maybe I can see if maybe this hospital will do it. Wouldn't you get tired of doing that at some point and actually try to fight back? Like, you can appeal for it, but how often are they going to listen to the appeal?
Yeah, I mean, I'm not getting tired. I am tired of it. I have to pay $90 per paycheck, and they don't cover anything.
Right, and I have to pay over $100 in mine. Granted, the vision works for the most part, but I haven't had anything to do with the healthcare. But
the vision is nice because they give me frames every other year.
Right,
so I'm excited to change them coming up this year.
Yeah, I'm glad I got mine changed, but it's ridiculous on how much you have to pay out of pocket to literally just maybe or maybe not have a chance to go into the hospital and get the help that you need. You know what I mean?
Yeah, well, I mean, you can get the help, but then it's going to cost thousands of dollars. I remember when I got a piece of glass in my toe, and I think I talked about this on the last episode too. Mm-hmm. It cost $3,000 for them to take it out and stitch my toe. 2 stitches in my toe.
Right, and then
insurance did not cover any of it.
Right, and so it's like, so then what's the point of having insurance then at that point? The whole point of insurance is literally to cover crap. Yeah,
I would rather not have it and then get that extra $90 per paycheck.
Right. And then the other dumb part is the copay. Like, why do I need to pay a copay if insurance is going to cover for it? That'll cover everything, including the copay.
And it's always something dumb like $10 copay. Like, why not just cover the $10?
Right, $10. I don't care if it's a $10 extra out of my paycheck for a month. You know what I mean? The whole point is I'm working to pay for the insurance to help me live. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So again, I should just be able to go into a hospital and be like, hey, my tummy hurts, and get that checked out and walk out, not have to pay anything. But then again, just knowing that, hey, it's okay. I'm working. My company is paying for said hospital visit. You know what I mean?
Yep.
Even virtual visits too. Like I had one recently, and because I got food poisoning and I needed a doctor's note for work and whatever. And then not even like 2 days later, you have to pay $90 for a virtual visit that lasted 5 minutes.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Like 5 minutes of your time costed $90. Are you kidding me? 5 minutes at my time where I work should cost the customer $90 a minute. At that point, if that's how we're going to play it, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's ridiculous. So I don't blame Luigi for why he felt the way that he felt, but obviously, again, his actions were a little bit excessive. I agree, like with people, that murder is wrong.
Now, I want to know if there's any information on how did he know where to find him?
There's a lot of ways that you can find out. Like it's also a reason too why a lot of people are taking down. Well, here's one thing. So before Luigi's assassination that he did, you can pretty much go on any and every website. If you look up like, oh, here's the CEO of this company.
Yeah.
Like Walmart, McDonald's, Burger King, whoever. And there'll be pictures of them. And then you can trace those back to like, because again, you have celebrities that just have here's Dwayne The Rock Johnson's house on Google.
This is the second time you brought up Dwayne. You a fan?
I know. Well, I've seen a lot of TikToks of Dwayne The Rock Johnson because they're doing Moana live action and all that other stuff. So they're trying to promote it and get it more notice with anything Dwayne The Rock Johnson.
Your algorithm is screwed.
I know it is. So, yeah, it's just like you can Google anybody. And I guarantee you that's part of what Luigi did. I'm sure there was more to it of how he found out.
Yeah, I just want to know like how he knew he was in the hotel.
Right.
That's my biggest thing, but I don't know if they've figured that out yet. Because he had to have known he was waiting there.
Right. Or as dumb as it may sound of how easy it might have been is if like he called and goes, yeah, I need to talk to your CEO or something like that. And then they're like, oh, well, he's not available. He's at the weekend. Some dumb employee was like, oh, yeah, he's at this hotel. And it's like, he won't be back until blah, 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 blah. So you can talk to him then and we'll set up an appointment. And he goes, all right, cool, thanks. I guess we'll do that. And then he plays it off as we'll set up an appointment. And then there he is. He stalks the hotel for a little bit and then bam, done. Guy's on the ground dead. So, and a lot of people in New York, I think too, recently have, they're putting up, somebody or a group of people were putting up wanted posters of CEOs for companies all around.
See, that's what I'm talking about. That's why I'm scared for America, because we are like calling for a lot of violence right now.
I mean, at this point, in a way, there are some moments I feel like violence is the only answer. But I'm not talking about killing or anything like that kind of violence. But I think like in regards to like there needs to have somebody take a stand for this crap, because that's the whole thing is like we can only do so much, that if we can't sweet talk our way to victory, we can't just sit there. And if we had World War III, we're like, you know, Putin over there in Russia was like, we're going to nuke you if you don't give us $30,000, you know, something stupid. And we're just like, well, can you give us like a week or, you know, something like we can't, or it's like, I'll give it to you. Hold on. Let me give you my Apple Pay card and stuff like that. No, like if the $30,000 didn't belong to us, again, this is all a primary example, then no, we're going to fight for it at that point. We're going to fight to defend at that point.
I also think that if a lot of people, and there's a lot, who claim that they're Christian, I'm primarily talking about churches, especially mega churches, which we've already named those ones.
Yep.
We don't need to keep doing it every time. But if they were giving more of their money out to their communities,
it would help.
And strengthening your community.
Yeah.
For instance, like the church that I go to during Thanksgiving would have these food bags, and it's for the people at the church who need it.
Yeah.
So like I'm not going to take one because I don't necessarily need it. But if you were strengthening your community and we were living how Christians are supposed to, which this is going to sound like I'm advocating for socialism. I don't think socialism is the answer, because giving the government all the money is just a dumb idea.
That is the dumbest idea, considering they're already trillions of dollars in debt.
Yeah, that's what people don't think about. But if people lived in communities like Christians should, I can't necessarily back it up biblically that I can think of off the top of my head. But say we all lived in like small little villages or something, we took care of each other. That's how I think it should be.
Yeah.
But America also, one of its problems is we're very individualistic.
Yeah.
So everything is like independent. We want to have we live in these neighborhoods, but we don't want to talk to our neighbors all the time. We don't really, well, maybe we'll be friends with some of them, but for the most part, we keep to ourselves.
Yeah.
But it used to be where you'd have like 5 houses in a little area.
And you could just walk up to your neighbor and be like, hey, what's up, Jeff, or whatever. And everybody was friendly, had like neighborhood barbecues even at that point.
Yeah. And then if somebody was down and out, you would help them out.
Yeah.
And that's what we're called to do as Christians. But I don't know how it is in other areas of the world, but in America, we're all like, we're going to be Christian and Jesus is going to make us rich. Right. That's the point of being Christian. Right. It's like, no, that's not really the point. No. But that's what we're teaching. And the majority of, I think the churches that make the most noise are like the Joel Osteens and all these churches that say, hey, if you give us your money, you'll be rich. And then they just...
Yeah, they just use it for extra lights and fog machines.
Yeah, I mean, and yeah, exactly. Like some of the money, I'm sure, goes to some things good, but you could use a lot more of it if you weren't spending it on production and making things look spectacular.
Right. Like you could just sit there too. And some people are so naive with the fact of like, again, they're claiming they're Christian and stuff. And maybe they're just so indulged with the church and how they've been taught through it. And they're just like, oh, the church is on TV. They're really spreading the word of God at that point. Who turns to, I'm sorry to say it like this, but who turns to the Christian channel anymore and watches a church praise the Lord while the pastor's up with like a harness on his back, flying through the air and spotlights? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like, who just changes? I'm bored. Instead of watching Sunday Night Football, I'm just going to turn it on to this church and watch them fly through the sky praising Jesus. Like, no, nobody's doing that. Number one. And again, like what you're saying is that, yeah, people do need to, be more in tune with the actual Christian meaning behind things, where it's like, yeah, you want to be more of like a community where you're helping each other out. And the church is also helping you out too with like the bags of food. My dad had to do that for a while because we didn't have a really good, I wouldn't say childhood is the word for it, but like we didn't have a really good moment in time when we were children. And my dad was trying to get a better job because it was after he had cancer. And, the church helped us out that we went to, and they gave us like, I think like 10 plus bags of groceries or something like that.
Yeah.
Which that to me is the true meaning of Christianity in a way.
It's definitely part of it.
And I don't get me wrong, and I'm pretty sure there were some people there, and there always is, that they will take that for granted and make the claim, oh yeah, I'm a single mom or I'm a single dad, and they're just getting free groceries for the week.
Oh yeah, there's always going to be people who abuse it.
Yeah, and yeah, no matter where you go, including insurance too. People will sit there and they'll abuse the crap out of their insurance policies. So if they're like if there's an insurance company that genuinely will pay for anything and everything, then again, just like the 600-pound life situation, this guy named Stephen was just there and claimed he had like knee problems or back problems. And so he just kept loading up on narcotics and everything like that because painkillers, they're very addictive.
Yes, they are.
And so he just kept going and going and going and getting a free refill every time through his insurance company. And, that's how people are. But yeah, I think with the violence today, where I think it's going to lead to is a revolution of some kind, I think, here pretty soon. There's no way that, again, Luigi makes a statement, then this one girl makes a statement, and now there's more people that are making statements to other CEOs right now too. The Walmart guy's in trouble right now. So he was just talking about increasing the prices even more than what they are at Walmart.
And they're supposed to be the cheap people.
Right. They're supposed to be the cheap people. And now Dollar General is looking a lot better. That's the thing is that these people are sitting here. It's like, there's no reason. Again, the Walmart CEO probably makes millions of dollars, or he definitely makes millions of dollars a year. And so why do you need to increase your prices on stuff?
Yeah. And I don't know how many CEOs claim to be Christian, but if they are, if they're claiming to be, then it's like, why not take a pay cut? Why not just make $500,000 a year?
Speaking of that too, the pay cut, there is one CEO, and I don't remember the name of the company, but it's not obviously I don't think it was a big company, but it was big enough to be known around the state it's in. He is the CEO, and he was making like over $1 million a year in salary and everything like that too. And what he did is, I don't know if this was a power move for what happened with Luigi killing the CEO for the United Healthcare.
Yeah.
But what he ended up doing shortly after, like I think it was like maybe like 3 days after everything happened, he was caught and stuff. He took a pay cut majorly. So now he's only down to $70,000 a year to help his employees like survive. So he's paying out of his paycheck every employee. So that he's, again, this guy was a millionaire and now is making $70,000 to $80,000 a year. So I'm like, that's a CEO right there that at least is using their money for good in the aspect of things. Like, obviously, yeah, if you're the guy that started the company, I think you still should definitely get more than everybody else.
Right. But
you also, again, what your personality is what defines what you do with that money at that point.
Yeah.
So if you're just going to buy like 4 yachts and just be on your merrily way, and there's a struggling guy who's, you know, maybe taking, like, the wife passed away and then he's got like 2 kids he's taking care of, but his job only pays like $40,000 a year, and he's struggling to pay rent and whatever else is happening. Like, that's not cool. Like, you should give the employees help you. You obviously started the company, but the employees are what make your company. So show a little bit of appreciation. Maybe not giving them the full amount, like your whole paycheck, you know what I mean? But give them more at that point. They're helping you grow, and then you'll see less turnover, less, you know, aggravation from people.
Yeah.
Less stress and more work productivity, you know? And that's what that CEO did after this whole Luigi movement, is like he was realizing that, hey, my employees struggle with inflation right now, and I think, you know, I'm well off. You know, he's probably got enough in his savings to be fine for a long time. But again, he took a pay cut now, so now he's only again making $70,000 to $80,000 a year, and his employees are thriving right now. They're able to actually survive. You know, at the place I work at, I'm making maybe $30,000 or so a year, and I can't even get an apartment right now because apartment with inflations are like, I think a starting apartment is like over $1,000 a month.
Yeah, for a 1-bedroom. Even studios are over 1,000. It's insane.
Yeah, it's insane. And so it's like these CEOs, I think, in a way, again, Luigi shouldn't have killed somebody. I'm going to just keep stating that because I'm pretty sure there might be some people that are just like, oh, no, he agrees. You know? No, Luigi should not have killed that CEO. But I think this, in a way, was a wake-up call for CEOs to start treating their people and even other people with more respect, is what it boils down to. Because obviously the ones that are going to retaliate, because again, they're more obsessed with money because they can afford bodyguards or whatever, like, they're not going to care what they do. Like the Peak Design guy, he literally just said, screw you guys, I'm going to rat Luigi out with the bag. You know, Nancy Parker, she sits there, should have just put the fries in the bag, but she called 911 and now she's jobless as far as I know. But obviously she's probably on a witness protection program kind of thing. Ugh. So, because all the publicity and everything like that from the McDonald's and her. So as far as I know too, I think that McDonald's is actually closed down too. So, which is crazy to think about, like, that all that happened. But yeah, CEOs just need to realize that we're taking this money thing for granted and our people for granted, you know?
Yep.
And we need to do something about it to show our appreciation and stop being selfish. Because why do I need 4 yachts? Why do I need 2 Lamborghinis? Why do I need a 10 bathroom mansion with a pool in each bathroom, you know? Why do you need that?
Technically, though, I mean, I agree with that, but you could also say that wealth is subjective, because someone might be looking at you and be like, why does he need a car and a motorcycle?
Yeah, that's true.
I'm just saying, like, I don't think that many people are angry at you, but it's just like, I think that's where the disconnect and the trouble is, because
people
it can be kind of subjective.
It is, and it is, and it isn't. I will say that. Like, I'm not disagreeing with it, and I'm not agreeing with it, because it, again, is it's all what you use the money for. Like, I make enough to where I can afford a bike and I can afford a car. And yeah, I'm paying rent at the place I'm staying at, so it's not like I'm totally broke.
Yeah.
But at the same time, it's where I am using my money wisely for the most part when it comes to everything, whether it comes to bills, whether it comes to, for fun, going out to eat or something like that. It just, again, it just really matters on what you do. But again, the CEO of Walmart does not need 2 yachts. Like, why? Why do you need that? That is the dumbest thing that you could sell
in case one breaks.
Oh yeah. Is that what they did with, they did that with Titanic too. They added like 3 sister ships to it. So it's like, whatever.
We're not going down that road.
No, we're not.
Tonight,
That's just the only example I'm using.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's like you could sell one of your yachts and you could give a pay increase to everybody or give them a bonus. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Something that would help them out. I'll tell you this much. At the last place I worked at, as a prime example of how these CEOs work. So our bonus with the position that I last was, they only gave me, again, for running an entire operation, right?
Yeah.
With 2 years, at least starting as experience, but I also had many years of previous jobs with this experience too. So I qualified. They only gave $150 per manager. So
yeah, that's kind of a slap in the face.
For hiring, firing, dealing with closings and openings by yourselves or whatever they did or had to do, and again, using their gas money for all this crap and whatever, they only get $150 as a bonus. Like, even people that I knew that had been there for over, I'm not even joking, like this one dude was there for over 30 years. 30 years.
Well, at that point, he's got to go somewhere else.
Right. And yeah, that was his own ordeal. But for 30 years, you're only getting a $150 bonus.
Yeah.
Are you kidding? Like, that's ridiculous.
No, I'm not kidding.
Like, that's ridiculous. Like, that is a slap in the face. But yeah.
Especially for a corporation.
Right.
Like, if it's a small business, okay. But
yeah. If it's like a small mom and pop shop or even a Speedway gas station, like that's fine as $150. But like if you're talking like mega corporation, like Walmart, for example, or Target or Best Buy, whatever, like you definitely can give a lot more for a bonus or something. You know what I mean? Because that really is. It's a slap in the face for what I had to do as my position was. It was ridiculous. Like I sat there and I was like, cool. This will cover gas for 1 week. Thanks.
You're welcome.
Appreciate it. But then the new CEO could just go out and buy a yacht because he didn't really give out a bonus this year. Like, I'll say this, at the place I'm working at now, guess how much our Christmas bonus is going to be?
How much?
$25. And it's taxed too.
Yeah, it's weird that bonuses are taxed.
Right. So it's like, okay.
Stefan, go somewhere else, bro.
Oh, trust me, I'm going to be looking for something. I'm going to be, I'm not planning on staying at this place forever. But all I'm saying is like, that's a Christmas bonus. It's $25. And one other place I worked at too, again, thanks to the CEO, they gave us our bonus in reward money. So the place that we worked at, we had like reward cash and all that other stuff. So if you earned enough points, then you could spend it towards your purchases or whatever, as long as it was non-alcohol or dairy or gift cards and stuff. They gave us $20 in reward points. So not even added to our check, $20 in reward points. That is the dumbest, cheapest thing you can do.
This episode is ending on a very, very sad note.
It is, unfortunately. It's just, I think in a way, it's a wake-up call for CEOs to start treating people better. And I'm not just talking about the healthcare organization.
Right, it's just like everywhere.
It's everywhere, too. Yeah, they do, because obviously actions have consequences to an extent. And again, not saying Luigi should have killed the CEO, because he should not have killed the CEO. He should have just literally done something about it in a non-violent manner like that, to where it would have gotten the point across for people to be able to at least stand up and still do what they're doing now.
It is wild to think about that World War One
Yeah.
was started because the Archduke Franz Ferdinand was assassinated.
Mm-hmm.
And
Right.
CEOs, they're not archdukes, but they're powerful people. So
They
it's
are.
like,
Yeah.
it is kind of scary to think that maybe there is going to be a revolution. It is, I will say, it is nice to see that the right and left are agreeing on something.
That is
for once,
true.
even if it's not entirely moral.
Right. Like, again, you could be a Trump voter or a Biden voter. And I've noticed even too, like, I'm a Trump supporter. I'm just going to say that. I know, crazy. I'm a Trump supporter. I love the guy since he first ran. And even while he was a TV star guy, you know, on what was it? You're Fired or something like
The
that.
Apprentice.
The Apprentice. Yeah. Like, I was a fan of his there. And I'm a fan of his when he was president, and now he's going to be president again in January. So I'm excited for the next 4 years. But some of my liberal friends that I talk to, you know, they hate the guy, but they also agree on this whole thing that, like, yeah, insurance companies and CEOs are, you know, complete and utter crap, and they need to get their stuff together at that point. And, that's how it is. They really do. Like, and it's nice to see everybody, like what you're saying, coming together at that point and agreeing on something. Like, yeah, you may be this and I may be that, but either way, this is a common ground that we're agreeing on. So let's put our differences aside.
I bet they're going to find some way to start disagreeing. Like all of a sudden the liberals are going to be like, wait a minute, we actually do like rich people now.
Yeah. Well,
and we think they should be able to buy whatever they want.
Gosh, I hope not. But you notice too on the news outlets that they don't talk about how mad the people are about this whole like thing about how corporate America with their CEOs are big scams and everything like that. They're only talking about, oh, well, Luigi did this and he's in prison now and people are hoping that he gets out soon on parole and everything else like that.
Yeah.
They're not talking about the effect of, you know, people are upset. You know, there's another word for it, but yeah, people are upset with the fact that, yeah, now everybody's seeing what CEOs are truly about.
Yeah.
Not all, but most CEOs. So again, like the one example was that guy that took over $1 million pay cut so that he could give it to his employees to show appreciation, you know?
Yep.
And again, he's probably still well set off after that. But again, that's dedication right there to your company and your employees.
Yeah, I just wonder if he's doing it out of fear or out of a genuine change of heart.
It could be both. Like, It could be like maybe he was that greedy guy that didn't give a crap about, and then he found out that Luigi assassinated that CEO, and he was like, man, you know, I have been actually pretty greedy.
I can see this going badly.
Right.
Let
And
me
well, that too. And then he's like, yeah, I probably wrongfully like fired people just because, you know, whatever too, you know? And so maybe this is a way, even though I may not be able to ever repay back those people I let go or whatever, that maybe I can start a change today. You know, I think CEOs and people of corporate America need to start doing that more. Car dealerships need to quit charging $100,000 for a $30,000 Jeep, you know?
Yep. Well, I think we covered it. We're just going to go in circles now at this point. So I think that's about covers it.
Yeah.
And for my non-American listeners, if you do have universal health care, what is it like? You can, if you're listening to on YouTube, you can comment and say, otherwise, if it's audio, we do have a send a text. Stefan is petting the microphone with a tiny hand. We do have a text message link that you can send to my website. It'll just go directly to my website. I will not get your phone number or name or any other information, and I can post it on the website. So just let us know. Otherwise, have a blessed week. Bye. Love you.
Bye.